Well, everyone, it's time for us to go and take a look at the iPhone 16 and compare it against the iPhone XS Max and see which particular iPhone is a better one for you. Now, clearly the XS Max isn't as good of an iPhone overall as the iPhone 16, but there might still be some advantages of buying something like the iPhone XS Max over the iPhone 16 and vice versa. Now, if you want to pick up either one of these phones, links will be down in the description. You can get them from there and you can help support the channel at the exact same time. Starting off with the outside, on the front side of the iPhone XS Max, you're basically getting a very large 6.5-inch Super Retina OLED display. And it's a very good looking panel. I'm a fan of it. You can see it has the notch up top. This was the biggest iPhone that Apple ever made during this moment. And I definitely will tell you, if you're going to go through and pick up a device, this thing still looks like a pretty decent panel, right? It still is very large. It gets fairly bright, but it's a 60 hertz display. It's not the brightest thing in the market. But what's really interesting is that when you look at the iPhone 16, the same exact thing could be said about this device, so many years later. This one came out in 2018. You could kind of give it some leeway here and there. This iPhone, for it being this large, for being this new, I feel like it's kind of a disadvantage here, right? This iPhone on the iPhone 16 is giving you a 6.1-inch Super Retina XDR OLED display. Now, I do think overall, like if you're looking at both these devices, the iPhone 16 definitely gets brighter, which is nice. But beyond that, there's not really anything else super going, like anything crazy with it. Like it's a 60 hertz panel too. And I think that's kind of a disadvantage for this type of device. You're getting the dynamic island, which is nice. I don't even think it has slimmer bezels, like it's kind of about the same thing. But definitely I would say the 16 is better. But the XS Max isn't really that much worse, to be honest. Now for the rest of the bodies, you can kind of see that the iPhone XS Max, I would say probably doesn't look as nice as the 16. The XS Max had this reflective side to it, which I was a big fan of. I think it looks nicer, but it's a rounded side. Definitely the more flat side on the iPhone 16s definitely look a lot nicer. Action button here, ringer on off switch here. Another very big difference. You're going from a Lightning port on the iPhone XS Max to a USB Type-C port on the iPhone 16. That in and of itself is a massive difference. Being able to go through and get a phone that basically has that type of capability is amazing and beautiful. And for one, I am a massive fan of having Lightning, but I'm also a way bigger fan of having USB-C. So from that side in and of itself, definitely USB-C is better. On the other side, you're getting a camera button on the iPhone 16, which again is super nice to have. I love having this dedicated camera button. It's really nice. Power button's right up here. On the back side, you're getting dual camera setups on both. So wide and ultra-wide camera on the iPhone 16 XS Max wide and telephoto lens. You're getting wireless charging on both. Standard glass back on the XS Max. I do have the skin here. The iPhone 16 is giving you this frosted glass back, which feels really nice. You're also getting MagSafe capability right here on the iPhone 16, which could be another advantage for this type of phone as well. You're getting IP certification on both, a lot of capability and a lot of overlap between both as well. And I do think that's a nice thing going on for both these phones. Like there's definitely a lot of overlap. But I would definitely say if you're looking at one, the iPhone 16, I think it's probably the overall better one here than the iPhone XS Max. So from that side, that kind of covers it up there. Now, in terms of software longevity, this is probably going to be one of the bigger downsides of the iPhone XS Max. As of right now, this phone is probably one of the oldest iPhones on iOS 18, and I really doubt it's going to last that much longer. There's a likelihood to make it a couple more software updates here and there, but this thing is pretty much done getting software updates. And I do think that's kind of a disadvantage here. Like if you're going to go through and like get a device, this thing is kind of a disadvantage, I would say, just because it's not going to be lasting that long. Beyond that though, I do think both these devices are still going to be supported for at least a year from now. But if you're wanting the longer lasting phone that's going to be supported, it's definitely going to be the iPhone 16. So from that side, that kind of covers it up there too. Now let's go and do a speed comparison between both these phones. The iPhone XS Max has that Apple A12 Bionic chip inside of it with 4GB of RAM, where the iPhone 16 has that Apple A18 chipset inside of it with 8GB of RAM. So let's go and see which one's a faster phone between both. Okay, there we go. All the apps are cleared out in the background, as you can see. Let's get into it. Phone calls 3, 2, 1. Okay, music 3, 2, 1. Already some glitchiness going on for the XS Max. We got to hear App Stores 3, 2, 1. Okay, 2 different panels. And even then, by having 2 different panels, I was able to load that faster than the iPhone 16. Again, kind of crazy. Scrolling through, let's see what the differences are. I kind of messed that one up too, but we'll just kind of scroll through, and both seem to be pretty good. Not too many differences there. Hopping out of here, settings 3, 2, 1. Okay, 16 slightly faster. Mail 3, 2, 1. Okay, camera 3, 2, 1. Okay, a little bit of a pop-up here, hopping out of here. Let's go and do clock 3, 2, 1. A little bit of a delay on the iPhone XS Max if you were able to see that. Hopping out of here, we do have some other applications we can test out. Facebook 3, 2, 1. I am logged in here. I was not logged in here, so that could be a different thing. Roblox 3, 2, 1. Okay, definitely the iPhone 16 faster. Subway Surfers 3, 2, 1. And you can see right here, definitely a pretty big advantage for the iPhone 16. That was significantly faster here. The iPhone XS Max was slower. Getting into the actual game itself, I think there were slight glitches on both, but the XS Max definitely seemed to be glitching more from what I could tell. Hopping out of both of these, Temple Run 2, 3, 2, 1. And so far from what I'm seeing is basically what I expected. The iPhone 16 is probably going to be the faster phone in almost every single way. And even in this case, right, you can see this thing had the downloading content panel, a little bit, of that kind of stuff. But think about it, how much, like, this is just from the app opening speed. Imagine all those in-game loading things and just performance level in general is definitely going to be a slower experience on the XS Max in almost every single way. And in fact, if I go ahead and go through and like play this game on this phone, you're probably going to notice some glitches. Maybe it'll be fine, but there's going to be some glitches probably, and there was a little bit of a glitch there. But that's going to be trickling down to basically every other part of these games. So what I would definitely tell you is just from a performance perspective, if you're trying to see which one is like the way faster phone here in almost every single way, from app opening, from game loading, all that stuff, besides that one, the iPhone 16 is probably going to be the faster one. Even in like the slight glitches going from one app to the other, the overall system, it's going to be a faster experience on the 16. So from that side, that kind of covers it up there. Now from the camera side of things on the back side, like I said before, both are giving you dual camera setups, which is really nice to have. I love having that type of capability. Wide and telephoto lens on the iPhone XS Max, but wide and ultra-wide camera on the iPhone 16. 4K 60 on the back, 1080p at 60 on the front of the XS Max, whereas on the iPhone 16, you're basically getting 4K at 60 on the front and the back, which is a pretty big advantage for that type of phone. Now with something like the XS Max, I think this camera is good, but it's not great anymore. You're getting things like 10x zoom right now, 1x zoom on the outside, video mode, slow mode, time lapse, portrait mode, panorama mode. It's some good modes, but it's not anything super crazy, and it definitely is not a great camera anymore. It was a good camera when it first came out, but it really isn't that great anymore, and that is kind of a disadvantage for this type of device. With the iPhone 16, this is definitely a far better camera. So for one, you're getting this camera button on the side, which is nice. So you can use this thing to basically zoom in and zoom out. You can use it to check your depth and so many other things. So that in and of itself is a super cool thing going on for this phone. On top of that, you're getting video mode, which is nice, cinematic mode, slow mode, time lapse. You're also getting portrait mode, spatial mode, and panorama mode. So this is also a very nice type of camera on this type of phone too, which I think is really, really nice. 10x zoom and 0.5x zoom. So even though this thing doesn't have a dedicated telephoto lens, you do actually end up getting that type of camera of having 10x zoom, which I think is really cool. So I would probably tell you overall, when you're going to go through and pick up a device, something like the iPhone 16 I think is the better device here in almost every single way. You're getting a better display, you're getting better build quality, better cameras, USB Type-C, action and camera button, and overall better performance and a longer lasting phone. But it is a more expensive device, and I keep telling everyone the XS Max is an older device, but there's phones in the middle that you can buy too. I think an iPhone 14 Pro that's cheaper than this phone in the used market is a better option than these two, and I'd probably recommend going for that one. Things like the iPhone 13 Pro as well are pretty good, but the 14 Pro I think is a really good option for a used device. So in terms of that kind of covers it up here. If you have any other thoughts or questions, please let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.